As a victim of slander, harassment, defamation, threats against my life, threats against my family's life, and doxing, I will gladly jump into the gauntlet or the metaphorical arena against content creators getting jumped or harassed with misinformation and lies. And that's where this post comes into play. It really irked me when I saw this enter my feed, and upon looking into it, seeing the actual content creator clarifying even in the comments that this is a straight up lie, that this is an out of context picture that is being posted to make them look like they are doing a salute. And it really made me upset that the fact that this post yesterday had over 150,000 likes, and it had no community notes, by the way. It had no community note clarifying this information of what was, being said, or, how this was out of context and all that, just to slander and harass this content creator. It took literally almost 2 days for a community note to be added. And I actively saw this community note and others getting, battled and removed and abused. I saw the actual community note system being abused and having things downvoted that should not be downvoted. And it legitimately showcases that the system is compromised and how there is people that will weaponize the community notes or actually fight back against actual information just to be able to slander and ruin somebody. In this case, that is a case in point right here. So let's get into some more context, okay? Brody is a pretty, I guess, iconic content creator. I don't personally watch them. I haven't thought about them in a very long time, but they are known for the yo mama jokes on YouTube. They have done a lot of edgy stuff over the years, over the decades, basically. They are kind of well known, maybe not as much as they used to be, but they were definitely someone or a content creator that was recognized. And this individual, Riri, which is the one that is getting harassed and slandered, I had never heard of this individual, didn't even know they existed until I saw this post enter my feed, and then I saw also Rock Solid talk about the exact same thing and saw him mentioning just, how this is blatant misinformation. So basically, upon looking into this, obviously I saw the comment from the actual content creator basically saying that, she was adjusting her camera, changing the Snapchat filter, looking at the MS, just doing what streamers do for their content creation, so to speak, when they're streaming. So it's very normal stuff, honestly. And so this individual, this very sick individual, decided to take a snapshot and then circle this and say, oh, you're a Nazi. Which, let's just be honest, we live in 2025, there's so many buzzwords now, so many people that use so many buzzwords to slander people. Words have just lost all meaning. They continue to lose all meaning. It's what I have been talking about literally for a while now, and I don't like how it's becoming more and more commonplace, because now people look at this situation and are like, they won't even bat an eye. They don't care anymore. They don't care. They don't want to believe it because it's just so used to assassinate someone's character just because you dislike them. People don't take it seriously anymore. And I think that is legitimately a problem. It's a huge problem right now on the internet, and I think, honestly, it's gotten a lot worse in the past few years. But I'm getting a little bit off topic. What I'm trying to say is that Brody, when he posted this, he knew what he was doing. He posted this to absolutely assassinate Riri's character and make her look absolutely terrible, because obviously when you look at the political environment, raising your arm is not good. Let's be honest. Let's think about what happened a month or so ago with Elon, okay? Anyone saw it. And so when you think about the situation, it's very clear what the intentions of this was. It was to completely ruin this individual's career, bully and harass this content creator off the platform where nobody will like her. Now, I want to clarify a few things before I go any further. I don't know anything else about Riri. I don't know her past. I don't know how she was. I don't know anything. The only thing I have seen about this content creator, okay, is what people have said, saying she is racist or a Nazi, with literally no images of proof. That's all I have seen, is just people just spreading word of mouth. And as someone that is a victim of that, and people that continuously do stuff like that, and when you ask them for proof, and then all you get is just dead silence, I'm going to be blunt with you. I'm going to assume that most of it is not true. Maybe some might be, but I'm going to be honest with you. When you start off your slander harassment campaign with blatant lies, like this is straight up a lie, it muddies the waters of any criticism or critique that could potentially land on Riri, because it makes everybody now look at anything that's being said about her under a microscope and assume that it's just blatant lies. Now, I do want to point something out. Now, once Brody started getting a little bit of flack and some pushback thanks to what they're doing here, they basically started to say anyone that disagrees or, is calling him a liar is now a lolicon. And he's like, yo mama and all that. And it's just like... It's always people projecting and people doing stuff like this. It's always this group of people that does this. And once again, I want to make sure I say this. Maybe something eventually does come out, and Riri is the spawn of Satan herself, okay? Maybe. But, yeah, don't start your call-outs with lies. It's not good. Nobody's going to take you seriously anymore. And in fact, it just damages yourself, especially when those lies come out, and the community note fixed it. Which, that gets into the next part. The damage has been done. This post had over 150,000 likes. That's not including what the quote retweets and stuff are probably saying about Riri and all the other different posts that are probably trying to do the exact same thing. I can imagine. The damage has been done, and most people are not going to go back to this post that happened days ago to look at the community note. That's the facts. That's the harsh facts. People don't like to really fact check. People don't really like to go back to posts they've already seen. They'll look at it, take one good look at it, and be like, yeah, that's true, and just move on. That's usually how it is. And so, from now on, Riri, regardless if anything does come out about her, she's going to be dealing with this type of harassment about this picture probably for the rest of her content creation days. Even though it is, like I said, a straight-up lie. That's gross to me. I hate that. I hate how that is done. So... all I'm going to say is I cannot stand how this is just blatant TOS, breaking of TOS. Like, this actually is terms of service breaking, because this is targeted harassment. It was very obvious what this post implied, and I am very surprised that this post has not been taken down by Twitter, because it's very clear what it's trying to do, especially with how viral it went, with over 17 million views. It's very obvious. This is just blatant, defamation. And yeah, that's basically it. That's what I want to talk about. I'm gonna say, continue doing stuff like this, and there's eventually going to be someone that does something very heinous. Okay, there's going to be someone eventually that's going to come around and do something truly despicable, truly evil, and people are not going to think it's true because of people like Brody, because people like to spread lies and misinformation. It's going to cause people to not take something very seriously when something very serious does happen. There will come a time when that will happen. It's dangerous. Dangerous waters we are all walking into. And I do not like that environment that we are in. That is why I'm making this video and calling it out. It's not okay. I know that not a lot of people probably care about this kind of content on my channel. But as someone that relates with being harassed and slandered with just straight up lies, I felt like it was fitting to make this video. But I'll leave it at that. I love you guys. Be safe. Stay healthy. Chibi out.